Hello, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of Change Cars and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I have one mission, and that is to make a difference to the motoring public. Making a difference how? Making sure that you have safe options, making sure that you have knowledge. In that regard, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of Motor Matters. The man with a hat, I'm the man with no hat, he's the man with the knowledge. Thank you for watching.
Welcome, dear and valued viewer. Today you find me behind the wheel of a Renault Captur. I'm in the Intense model because it has a black roof, which is the only thing that distinguishes it from the Z model, which is 20,000 Rand cheaper. And this one coming in at 499,000 Rand, just under 500 Rand. For a four-door hatch these days, but you know, that's what cars cost. And actually, when one starts to compare around, the Renault is competitive. We have a 1.3 litre turbo motor producing 113 kilowatts and well over 200 newton meters of torque. There's quite a lot of torque in this thing. Doesn't matter. Made it to a 7-speed automatic box. I have flappy paddles, which is great, and several different drive modes, which is quite interesting that you access via the flappy paddles. If you touch them, it puts into D7, then you have to hold them down to go to manual. And then you can use your full control over the gearbox. Bit of a French thing, but you know, it works. And I use the flappy paddle box actually quite a bit, I must say. It's one of those cars that encourages spirited drive. It enjoys it, and it rewards you if you want to get on with things a little bit. What else can I say? 17-inch rims with 215/16 tires on there. Gives you an indication this car is built around a degree of performance and a degree of handling. And on the highway at 120, it's wonderful. If you want to overtake, put your foot down, overtake. Done, finished, go. You're going to pay a little bit of extra for the fuel, but you know, it's not about that. It's about if you're wanting to have a car that's a little bit quicker than just a city, small entry-level 1.2 litre, 1 litre motor, this is the one to go for. And for a performance junkie like myself, I've enjoyed my time behind the wheel of this car, I must say. It's surprisingly reassuring on the road. It is predictable in its handling, composed, all the usual platitudes that one applies to cars. But this Renault feels good, it feels solid, it feels good. Enjoy it. Let's go through the interior of this Renault Captur. First of all, the driver's information console, the center console is friendly. You can change things. You've got access to a whole bunch of functions on your steering here, so you can select different functionalities for the different little locations of where things are located on this thing. For instance, you can see there I'm scrolling through my fuel consumption averages, just particularly on that little trip. And you know, you can change and customize this display to a reasonable degree of personalization. Your steering wheel is obviously, as we say, fully functional with cruise control and speed limits and all sorts of navigation through your menus there. And you have a push button start, which is cool. And then you have this wonderful big tablet type display here, which actually is bigger than it looks, surprisingly. It's one of those that actually is quite useful in terms of the fact that you've got access to all your controls quite quickly and easily. So if I want to just push up to my different sources, I can select whatever it is I want to listen to, for example. But the menu system is close and skip back home. Whatever, I'm not going to get into it right now because clearly it's defeating me. But we have climate control, which is cool. You just access that by going ka-ding and pushing the button. I'm just going to turn it down, otherwise it's going to make a hell of a noise. And then of course all your usual air conditioning, USB, and interestingly enough, no USB-C. It's just normal conventional USB. Then we come down to our double tier, what we've got here. First of all, we've got our gear shift here. And then underneath it, we've got a console here, which is where your phone lives, and of course it has wireless charging. You have assisted control for when you're starting on hills by pushing A, which is something I don't generally use, not an automatic, and of course your park control, and then you've got your key console stroke where you keep all your drinks, and there is a cubby hole here that you have to push the button in to access, and you can fit Not much, but it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe a can of Coke or something would fit in there. It's not air conditioned, but that's okay. Seats, I have to comment on. Look at the headrest. So cool. And actually, very supportive, very comfortable, and, almost going with the thin style type sports feel for it. The rest of the interior is plasticky, but good plasticky. I mean, we've got some aluminium look here, and our cubby hole, which is actually quite large and disappears all the way down into the depths of the car. Qualities of the plastics do feel good. This is a soft touch plastic. It's not a hard plastic. It's got a bit of a soft touch feel around it, which is great. And the car fixes itself, because that panel, when I had it, was rattling like an absolute bastard. But it's turned itself off, and now it's actually as silent as a church. Really. Anyway, so it fixes its own wrapper, which is cool. Over here, we've got some interesting knobs for our lane control. We can adjust our headlights up and down using this switch, and I haven't figured out what that does. We have a heated steering wheel, which is kind of cool, which is a leather look steering wheel, and I've just put the automatic window wipers on. Of course, you've got automatic headlights as well. I think that covers us for the front of the car. I'm going to nip out and show you the back, because it's actually quite roomy as well. Okay, as promised, here's the back of the car. And with the passenger seat and driver seat in generous proportions, in other words, set for me, and not set forward to try and give you a false sense of it, I have got a huge amount of legroom here still. There's plenty, and a lot of decent, reasonable amount of headroom in the vehicle. Plus, for traffic to pass. Back here we have vents for the rear passengers and some USBs in case they want to get to it, and of course they're 12 volts. If you don't want to use the USBs, you can use whatever you like. Into the sound system, which is pretty decent. You've got 2 sets of speakers on the door, which is kind of like a hint that you're dealing with a reasonable high-end, or approaching high-end sound system. And the space-saving headrests. It's kind of like saying you can have a 4-seater, but really this middle console is basically for a fairly patient and small child. Let's have a look at the boot. Okay, so having the hatch up, then let's have a look at the boot. Not massive, I have to say. You could get an Allen in here, but you'd be complaining a lot. Well, you actually wouldn't be complaining, because you'd have to be dead. You'd have to cut him up to get him into here. But there's a party trick. Have a look here. Ta-da! Can you guess what's going to happen? Ta-da! Yes, look, we've got some extra space. And that's a good 150 millimeters of extra load space, which makes a difference. So you could put a whole bunch of stuff in there and hide it from the authorities. Perfect drag car this. Underneath, yes, we have a space saver Mori biscuit spare, but at least it's there, and it's not a pump as you go type thing, and it actually looks to be reasonably easily accessible, which is a bonus if you have to put on a spare tire. Other than that, not too bad. Not a power tailgate, not the end of the world. Does lead me neatly though into the looks of the car, and I have to say I quite like them. I mean the C-shaped, these C-clamp headlights did I say headlights? Taillights we've seen before, but not too bad, attractive, and overall the stance of this car is pretty good. It's locked this up because I've got the key in my pocket, and it's one of the best keyless entry systems I've used, because as soon as you approach the car it just unlocks everything, opens it up. Have a look at those tyres. Look where the wheels are. Right on the edges of the vehicle. Excellent handling. Love it. And of course, yeah, 17-inch 215/60s, as I said, and an attractive rim. Really not bad. The chrome running down the side of the vehicle, top, bottom, I think accentuates it, and the black roof just gives it that extra degree of panache, sophistication, style. We like it. And the front end, distinctly Renault. You know, progressive sort of air intakes for the braking systems that are located here. They actually do go through to the discs, which is nice. And I have to say, brakes in the car pretty good. I enjoyed them. They give you comfort, and Didn't fade. I didn't push it too hard, but they were pretty good during the test. But the looks of the car, I think overall, it's an attractive vehicle. I must just add a comment about this gearbox. I've put it into manual mode now, and it is one of the quickest to downshift that I've come across in absolute ages. I mean, I've driven some high performance cars in the last couple of weeks. I've been lucky that way. But for what is supposedly an entry level type city car, this box is flipping quick. So I can take it from 7th down to 2nd, literally as fast as I can click it down. It's really quite a lot of fun, and it allows you to play a little bit if you want to, within reasonable limits. It's one of those sort of cars that I'd really like to sort of see how it does on a track for interest, for fun and giggles, as they say in the classics. But as far as driving around town goes, the gearbox is smooth, and when you've got control over it, it's in the right gear at any time. I do enjoy this. It's a standout. Case in point, you only need 2 gears. That's first, that's second, that's 60. Wonderful. It's just so unexpectedly perky, I think is the word for this motor. And willing a little bit, I mean a teeny weeny little bit of turbo lag. I'm referencing it against the performance car, and I shouldn't be. It's a Renault Captur. No, it's good. Let me show you what I mean. If you forget the bounce. I'm at 60 k's an hour. I'm at 2nd. No. Back into 6th. So literally 6th and 2nd. 6th. It's that quick. Fantastic. So, how do I sum up this Renault? I mean, I'm not a big Renault fan, I must be honest. Renault, it's not one of the brands that's ever really shot the lights out for me. But I like this Captur. I really like this Captur. There's a lot of competition in the pricing point for vehicles of this nature, and that's a good thing. You know, it's a competitive market, as it should be. And the Renault holds its head high. It's one of those that, I know we've been saying it a lot recently on the channel, we sound like broken records, but you need to get into one and drive it yourself, and get a sense for what the Captur's all about. For me, would I buy one? Sure, that's a good question. I really liked it. I really liked it. It'd be on my shortlist. It'd be on my shortlist, which means I think it should be on yours. So go out and have a look at it and see what you think. I love this gearbox. I just love this gearbox. Okay, with that, I'm going to leave it. This is Will from Motor Matters, and bouncing around.